just a quick announcement. We didn't pull them out earlier this morning, but there are battery chargers, phone battery chargers for all attendees at the front desk. Don't forget to get them. They're the nice ones that plug into your USB. It sits on your desk. You drop your iPhone right on there, and it charges for you. If you got a Galaxy, you're SOL. Sorry, get a job, get a real phone.
They also have hand wash.
And we've got hand sanitizer as well, so Bob can clean up his act. We've got gallons of it. And parking, your parking is complimentary unless you valeted. If you valeted, that's not on us, but all the self-parking is complimentary, so that won't be an issue getting out. And I'm going to tee it to Bob, who's going to bring Courtney up.
Yeah, Paul just scolded me because he said I fell behind on schedule. I thought we were going back at 11:15. That's not to take away from your presentation. So let's welcome Courtney Chalmers of Yachtworld. Courtney leads branding, buzz, and all of his marketing at Boats Group, overseeing product marketing, digital marketing. I should know this by heart by now, wouldn't you think, and all that. She's a creative problem solver, strategic thinker. Courtney has 17 years of experience in the digital marketing outlet. Courtney Chalmers.
Okay, I can turn this on and that off.
Good.
Okay, now it's on. Okay, good. All right. I know, I keep looking at that picture, and my hair is very dark in that picture. And I was joking with somebody today. It's like a real estate picture where it's like that picture stays the same no matter what I look like. All right, so I was putting this presentation together, and I realized that I was last here in front of you all in 2019, which seems like ages ago. And so we've done a lot in those 2 years. A lot of the things we talked about getting done for you all, we've done. And so I want to take you through some of the new things we've done. I'm not going to go over the features of BoatWizard today, but I do want to take you through some of the stumbling blocks that I've noticed with the new BoatWizard 3.0 that I think many of you are probably stumbling over as well. So hopefully I can give you some good tips on that front. We're also going to go through the state of the industry. I know you all just had a really good presentation earlier this morning. So we're going to go through some of the sold boats data and take a look at, as we're getting into, I would say, the new normal, which is kind of post-pandemic, what the industry is looking like from a traffic and leads and sold boats perspective. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing to help our customers address some of these industry challenges that we're up against right now. So we've got 20 minutes. We're going to roll through it. Let me know if you have any questions throughout. All right, so this is typically how I envision everyone reacting to BoatWizard 3.0. So really happy, surprised, very excited about all the new features, although I know that there are some frustrations. I have actually gone into the system and used it myself, and so some of the things I'm going to talk about today have stumped me up. And so hopefully after we cover these next few things, you'll feel a little less frustrated about some of these things. The first one is you can still search by state. I don't know if anybody else has had a tough time finding that. If you have, I did too. I had a broker contact me, really frustrated that he couldn't search by state in the MLS, and you actually can. So you have to select country first, which doesn't really seem intuitive because we're in the United States and you would think, don't they know that? So once you select the US, then the state drop-down pops up. So from there, then you can search by state. You can even choose city from there. So I don't know if that helps anybody, but I hope it does. It helped me once I realized how easy it was to search by state. All right, number 2, set up save searches. This will save you a ton of time. So, for instance, if you are often searching for the same type of boat in a certain state or a certain country, save that search so that every time you go back into BoatWizard, you can quickly access that search. So for instance, if you search often for trawlers in Florida, you would select, oh sorry. There we go. You would select trawler from the class drop-down, then you would select country, which then obviously gets you to the state. You would select Florida. Then from there, you would go down to where it says personal boat shopper, and kind of skip that top part, because that would be if you were setting up a personal boat shopper for a professional boat shopper for a customer. So you're gonna skip that part, and then you're gonna name your search. In this case, I named it Florida, and then save that search. When you come back into BoatWizard, then you'll be able to see your saved searches there. So you can quickly select the search that you saved, and you don't have to put in all those search criteria again. All right. You can also customize your view. So if you like to see as many listings as possible on the page, you can go up to 100. So you can see up to 100 listings in the search results, or you can see as few as 20. So if you click that little caret arrow at the very top next to listings, you can select from 20, 30, 50, or 100. So that's also sort of like a hidden trick there if you'd like to change your view. And you can also send full details fast. So I know that a lot of you copy and paste listings to send to customers. There's a really easy way to send them, to send full details from the MLS really, really quickly. So if you click on that, kind of looks like a boomerang, kind of like a less than sign there in the search results. Once you click that, the QR code page comes up. So from that, you can either copy and paste the link if you're on your phone. You can copy and paste the URL and text it, and the full details will text over to your client. Or you can click the email button, and it will send an email to the client as well. Now, go ahead.
Does that populate with your name and company as well when doing it this way?
Yes, so whatever is on that QR page, I'll have to confirm it, but I think so. Because it's basically sending the full details. You know what? I don't know, actually. Let me confirm that. I don't think it does, because it's coming from, it will be, yeah, I don't think it does. I think that's only the brochure that would do that. But I'll take that down and see if we can, I'll take that note down and see if we can do anything about that. But that's a really easy way to do it. And I actually sent it to myself and got the email, and it looks really nice as receiving it as a client. And the last tip we're going to go over is you're also able to customize photos and brochures. So let's say you have a client that you've shown all the pictures to, but now they're really interested in just something like the engine room, for instance. If you click Edit Photos from the brochure page, you'll be able to then drag and drop the photos that you want to send. So again, you're limited to the layout that you chose. So in this case, I chose the layout with 3 images. So all you do is delete. You click the X to delete those photos in the dark gray box, and you drag and drop the images that you want to send. So you can actually customize those photos. And then you just hit save, and it's ready to go. All right, so I want to just give you Emily Amison's information. If you do have any feedback about BoatWizard, please do contact her. She's been very, very responsive. She'll call you back. She'll walk you through BoatWizard. She'll walk through whatever issue you're having so that she can understand what your feedback is. If anybody has talked to her before, I think you'd agree. She is very proactive. She's very responsive. And I'd also invite you to join the test group. So it's as open as, if you want to join it, all members are welcome to join the test group. So join it so you can give feedback. You can be a first user of any of the new products and features that are launching. And so we want to hear from you. So definitely provide us feedback. And the more specific you are, the better we can address the issue. All right. So jumping into some of the data. So, I think everyone has seen so much data around the impact of the pandemic for well over a year now. But I thought it'd be helpful just to start with a view of what Google Trends is showing us about the overall interest in boating over time. So starting with June 2019, that's sort of our benchmark for normal at this point. And you'll see that's a consumer index. So it's, at the height, it's probably at about 70-ish in 2019. At that same time in 2020, you can see that the surge from the COVID pandemic. That has started to normalize as we go into 2021, But even then, it's still higher than the peak in 2019. So we know that inventory levels are constrained, but this demand has continued, and it's continued to impact overall sales, which obviously you all know, sales prices, and time on the market. So we're going to take a look at some of those stats in the next few slides.
What is the definition of interest?
So it's based on, I don't know how Google, I don't know what the math behind it is, but it's essentially a consumer interest index. So in this one, I did a search for boats for sale. So they take the search volume and impressions and create an interest index from that based on search volume. So when we thought about traffic for 2021, we really went into 2021 bracing ourselves for going up against really tough comps from 2020. But we've been pleasantly surprised that since the demand has remained so high, that we've maintained strong momentum going into 2021. We are obviously lapping that dip before the surge last year, but even as we're starting to approach that headwind, we're still seeing 40% year over year on average growth each month. So you can see that the traffic started to improve last year right around April. So that's when traffic started to climb back. You'll notice that when we look at sold boats, that that improvement started to come. It started to trail a little bit. So it started improving like around May, end of May into June. So this is just an overview of what it looks like from the funnel perspective with traffic, engagement, and overall leads. So demand for boats is obviously continuing to outpace supply. And when you look at that strong year-over-year lead number, it's pretty impressive to see that even with the inventory challenges that we're up against, people are clamoring for the boats that are available. We're seeing about 30% less inventory in the market right now compared to last year. I thought it was also interesting to take a look at lead growth by boat type. And even as we go into the headwind of that COVID anomaly from last year where demand was like off the charts, some categories are outpacing even that surge into this year. So those categories like cruisers, motor yacht, sail are among those categories that are outpacing that surge from last year. I think that's probably likely due to the fact that these boats are more conducive to repeat buyers. So last year, the biggest audience of buyers were first-time boat buyers. And that audience tends to go more for the PWCs, the ski and wake, pontoons. And so you see that surge last year happening within those segments. And so this year going into that, we're lapping those big surges within those categories. Leads per listing, I thought this was interesting to share as well. Again, as inventory continues to be constrained, we have very, very engaged prospects, and they are competing aggressively for the available boats that are available. So, and they're competing for the purchase finish line. So, we'll talk more about kind of what we're doing to help consumers know what's available and how to get to those boats even faster. Jumping into sold boats, so you can see here the drop off in sold boats. That blue line there is 2020, and you can see that big dip, which is in the throes of the beginning of the pandemic. We started coming out of that decline after about 5 weeks, and like I said before, boat sales kind of trailed behind traffic by a few weeks. So really surging in May. So we're starting to lap that surge now. So the 2021 is the orange line. And so we're staying much more in line with 2019, which again is that more normal year that we're comparing against. But even so, we're 16% up year to date. But again, that's helped by that big dip that we saw pre-pandemic or during the pandemic. The running total, this shows you a view of the entire year. So again, we're up 16% year to date compared to 2020. 10% up compared to 2019. So that still gives you a good view of compared to normal, it's a really healthy year in 2021 compared to 2019. The average sale price remained below 2019 through mid-June, and that's when we started to see it climb. I think that was most likely driven by production declines during the pandemic shutdowns, and so as we started to see inventory tighten towards the end of last year, that's when we saw the average sale price increase. And we've seen that average sale price remain pretty consistent into 2021 as inventory continues to remain pretty constricted as well. Let's see, actually. So when we look at trends by length, notice that the less than 26 length group is the only one that's down year over year. So I think there are a few drivers for that that's causing that year-to-date drop that you're seeing there. The first is a new and used mix. So in 2020, we had about a 50-50 mix of new and used on Yachtworld. That's compared to 2021, where it's skewed more to new. So we have 60% new versus 40% used listings on Yachtworld this year. So as you know, new listings are less frequently reported in sold boats, and so we're not capturing those sales as often as we would the used sales, obviously. And this is also a category that, again, is pretty attractive to first-time boat buyers. So that was the largest audience of boat buyers last year. In 2020, at the start of the COVID surge, those less than 26-foot boats moved really quickly, so we're lapping that kind of groundswell of activity as well. So when we look at days on the market, and it's January through May, remember here that we're looking at just about 30-ish days in 2020 of that COVID surge. So most of that 2020 data is reflective of that dip that we saw. So that's why there's not a significant change between 2019 and 2020, but you see that really significant change in 2021. So that's really indicative of the current environment that we're in, where demand is so high and we're up against low inventory, so boats are moving really quickly. But it's pretty phenomenal to see the 2021 days on market for each length category shift as much as they have. No surprise, but I think when you see the numbers, it's pretty staggering. All right, so a couple things that we have done that to help address some of the challenges that we're up against in the industry. So the first one is status tags. So these are launching pretty soon, I think. This is to help consumers know when boats are available, if they're in stock, if they're coming soon, if they already are pending a sale, or if they're a new arrival. So it allows you all to promote your boats in a different way so that you can start to generate more qualified leads for those listings. These people are scrambling to find boats, and they want to know what's available as soon as it's on the market, and they want to be prepared if it's going to be coming soon. So we want it to allow them to know that, but also allow you to promote those boats in that way. The second one is search alerts. So I don't know if anyone here signed up for search alerts as a consumer. It's very similar to Personal Boat Shopper. We relaunched this back in December, and it's sent every week. We are going to begin testing sending it more frequently, because right now people want to know what's on the market. They want to know more than once a week what's on the market. So this has been very successful so far. We have over 30,000 users receiving this on a weekly basis since we launched it 6 months ago. So the more boats you list, obviously the higher chances you'll have in getting in these emails, because they have about a 70% open rate. So it's extremely high, considering that most open rates are about 20%. So consumers love these emails, and once they sign up for a search, they can sign up for as many searches as they want, and they get those alerts every week, and we're going to be sending those even more. Last one, if you've been in BoatWizard and it is slow, the team knows. So they're working on making BoatWizard faster. You will notice changes coming throughout the next few weeks, months, all to improve the BoatWizard speed. So again, Give us your feedback, though. We always want to hear if on your end things are moving really slowly, let us know that. But that is one thing the team's going to be working on, is improving the speed of BoatWizard. And lastly, I just want to show Emily's information again in case you have any feedback for us. Let us know. You're always welcome to email me. If I don't know the answer, I will find out, or I will send you to the right person. So contact me. My email is in the flyer for today, and I'm happy to help. That's all I've got. Any questions? I think we have time for questions, maybe. Yeah.
Is the app coming back?
Is the BoatWizard app coming back? No, it's not coming back because we've made BoatWizard mobile friendly. We didn't see the need to support the app anymore. But again, if you have any issues with the mobile version, let us know, because we'll make sure we're improving that so that we can get you what you need in order to function appropriately. Yeah.
Darren, hang on one second.
I just had a real quick question. Was the compilation of data that was provided in the sold boat segment a combination of both sold boats and the yacht closer
Yes.
data? So we
Yes.
did get the view of that.
Yep.
Perfect.
It's combined. Yep.
That search alert feature that you were talking about for the buyer, can we have a search alert as brokers for certain parameters?
In the MLS, it's there. It's the professional boat shopper.
Professional boat shop.
Yep.
okay.
So and you can actually just send it to yourself instead of sending it to a customer, for instance.
Gotcha.
So we're on the slide where we talked about saving a search. That section there that says professional boat shopper, you can
That
set it
little
up right
section.
there.
Got it.
Yep.
McCarthy has it set to all your boats already. Any other questions? Hang on.
Excuse me, ladies.
Hey, thank you for the information. Is there any way when you create a brochure to make the file smaller so you can just attach it to an email?
That's a good question. Yeah, PDF it. Yeah, but there has to be a way in BoatWizard. I'll find out from Emily if we can do that. I'll find out. I think let me find out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I'll grab your card before I leave so I can get your information.
Last good question.
Hi, thanks. Can you just explain real briefly what happens to customer contact information and stuff when we go through the process of sending them an email or using Yacht Closer, et cetera? Email addresses, any contact info?
That is a good question that probably has a lot of different answers depending on what you're doing in the system. So I'm going to get your information just so I answer your specific question.
That also goes straight to Mike McCarthy's email.
I'm not avoiding the question. I just don't want to give you the wrong information on that. And sometimes it's easier for me to be in the system and do it versus try to remember how it works. So I'll get with you and get you the answer.
Courtney, I just wanted to be clear on the email alert system you were talking about that the buyers can set up. Is that something that we can have the buyer set up where they're getting our contact information associated with the listing when it pops up versus, is that something I would provide as a service to my buyer, say, set up a professional boat shopper type boat alert for them, or is that something exclusively to the shopper?
Yeah, the consumer has to do it on Yachtworld, but in BoatWizard, you can set up the professional boat shopper to have emails sent to your clients for sure, and that will always include your information.
I should not be telling them about the alert. I should be just setting up the professional boat shopper.
Yes, yes.
So when you set up the alert with their email as your customer, then they're receiving your information as a contact, not the listing.
No.
Right?
Right. Only the listing broker is who shows up in their boat shopper feed when a boat comes up that meets their parameters. If it's Gary's boat, it shows up as Gary SYS Yachts. If
On
it's
the
Mark's
Yachtworld
boat,
side, in BoatWizard,
In BoatWizard, and I send it up to a client, then it will give them my information.
yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, yes. If you're doing it through BoatWizard and you set up,
They do it through Yacht
Correct. Yeah.
One thing I've noticed since you've started registering the yacht closer data, when it goes into the sold boats feed, I've noticed a few times when you mark a boat as sold in Yachtworld, and then you say what price did it sell for, et cetera, what we've done in the past, it almost double books it as a sold when you go into soldboats.com, where one of them, the problem is the one in Yacht Closer doesn't have pictures, it doesn't show any of the specs, it just said this boat sold, there's a, no picture or anything, it sold for X, and then there's a second sold report that was actually logged in from Yachtworld. Is there a way you guys can combine those?
Yeah, they're working on that. We've gotten that feedback, and so we know that there are duplicate listings when we merge the systems. And so, yes, they are working on that. But that has been an issue. Yeah.
Hey, Courtney.
Hey.
Question on Yacht Closer and the leads that come from BoatWizard. Will you tie those two together? Like, we track every lead that comes in, with the ROI in our sales data, but will you guys be doing the same thing with the Yacht Closer and the leads that you give us? Closed loop reporting?
Kelly, do you know? I don't know. I'll find out, Mary. I'm not really sure.
I haven't heard about it on the Yacht Closer side.
I haven't heard about it on the Yacht Closer side either, but I'll find out.
Great questions. What other questions do we have for Courtney and or Kelly, who happens to be anonymously in the audience? Oh, we got one for Stacy.
So as I send boats to my clients, is there a way for me to go back and see which ones I sent them so I'm not sending duplicates? Is there any way, like when I put in who I've been sending it to, can I find out all of the boats that I've sent to them?
That's a good question. I don't think that you can.
Yeah.
Unless somebody knows something I don't. I don't think so, and that's a really good idea.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Could there also be
Sorry. So a little bit to the same point, I find myself having to retype the full email every time when I want to send them something.
Right.
It doesn't recall it. Am I overlooking a feature, or can you guys tweak that?
I'm wondering if we can set up templates where like to almost save an email template that. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Those are two good ideas.
Maybe a login for us, and then that's how we save our.
Yeah, to have a back-end system. Yep. Yeah, like an account.
Because it's easy to build, right?
Easy. Can't you just?
Piece of cake. It's just a couple of strokes of the keyboard.
Yeah. But I'll get your information because in fact, if you want to join the test group too, do that because that would be helpful and can hear those ideas too.
Cool. What other questions do we have for Courtney? I think we're good. Awesome. Courtney,
All right,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Thanks, everybody.
Great supporter of boat groups, and thanks for another good information.
Thanks, Bob.
Good job, Courtney. Yeah, I usually pride myself on keeping a really tight schedule. I don't know how this one got out of hand, but so what Paul and I decided was that the length of lunch today will be, what did we decide, Paul? 8 minutes? 7 minutes, 8 minutes, okay. So for right now, as Paul gets mic'd up, I'm going to try to ad-lib a little bit. And I want to remind you of your pink sheets. You'll get those to Emma, and to make sure you take good notes. I'll mention that again today. And does anybody have anything they want to ask? Anything they want to comment on? So far, what have you learned? Have you learned something today? If you learned something, raise your hand. If you didn't learn anything, raise your hand. All right, well, then we're succeeding. Let's see. I thought it was particularly interesting about, although we didn't get the high number data of over 80 boats and all that, I think the trend is pretty consistent with what was presented to us by Wells Fargo. Interesting stuff. And I did mention how record-breaking charter was and all that, but of course it's boat sales as well. And if you're not making money out there right now, there's something wrong. And if you're not making money right now, there is something wrong. But you can listen to my panel discussion on the guys that are doing it and making some money.